Without change, something sleeps inside us. The sleeper must awaken.
Hello and welcome back to another We Ourselves video. And today, I want to talk about the Recast T'Challa movement and whether those of us who support the Recast T'Challa movement, should we support Ryan Coogler's projects outside of the MCU? And I'll talk about that today. As somebody who fully believes that the MCU made a mistake by not recasting T'Challa, and I've done plenty of videos voicing my opinion on the matter, I often wonder if our efforts, particularly for those of us in the Recast T'Challa movement who have chosen to keep their wallets closed and not support MCU theatrical releases and don't pay for Disney+. I often wonder if we are undercutting our efforts by supporting Ryan Coogler's other projects outside the MCU. And I just had to really consider that point of view. What Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore did to T'Challa in the Black Panther franchise and what they will continue to do in the third movie and the upcoming Eyes of Wakanda, they did it because of who they are. It's part of their process, and that process or their way of storytelling goes with them to other projects outside the MCU. And so, and this is just my opinion, when I ask myself that question, I personally say, no, I don't think I should support Ryan Coogler or Nate Moore in their projects outside the MCU. And so today, I just want to real quickly just talk about two reasons why. Number one, which is what I already alluded to, Ryan Coogler is Ryan Coogler, okay? The part of his creative process and thinking that willingly either made the decision not to recast T'Challa, which he and Nate Moore proudly proclaim, or the part of his creative process and thinking that allowed himself to be the fall guy for Marvel and Kevin Feige, who don't want to recast T'Challa. Either way, it's part of Ryan Coogler's process. Ryan Coogler, in my opinion, when it came with Wakanda Forever, he undid everything that Chadwick Boseman personally believed in. And we know this things because of Chadwick Boseman's own words. There's no way that Ryan Coogler, a college graduate, did not know what Chadwick Boseman said at Howard University. There's no way he did not know what Chadwick Boseman said at that university. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't watch the commencement. He claims to have been a good friend of Chadwick Boseman, greatly influenced by him. So there's no doubt in my mind that they actually did work together closely on the first Black Panther. Because I feel like the first Black Panther was able to achieve what achieved because of Chadwick Boseman's influence on everything there. But as soon as Chadwick Boseman passed away and his influence was not there, Ryan Coogler went back to his true form. And I have to say, shout out to Marcus at Back of the Bus. When he did his review of Sinners, in anticipation that he would get a lot of people to come at him, he pointed out that Ryan Coogler has this obsession with broken Black families and, by extension, broken Black characters. And what happened? As soon as Chadwick Boseman was out of the picture, Ryan Coogler went back to form. Why? Because it's part of Ryan Coogler's process. Think about this. Ryan Coogler has done 3 different types of movies in his short career as a director. He's done one that was based on an original story, Fruitvale Station, but again, look at the main character there. Then he did 2 which were based on existing IP. One with an existing character, T'Challa, and we know what his decision was there, not only to get rid of T'Challa, but then to give him an illegitimate, fatherless son. And the other one, Creed, that was an existing property, but he created the character within an existing property and made him illegitimate too. And now you have Sinners, a totally original idea in IP for Ryan Coogler, but yet he has broken families again in that movie. And that's why I say shout out to Marcus for Back of the Bus for pointing this out. Ryan Coogler is Ryan Coogler is Ryan Coogler. And the part of Ryan Coogler's thinking that said, I'm not going to recast T'Challa, is the same in every other movie that he does. The broken family, the broken Black family is part of the reason why he will not recast T'Challa, or allowed himself to be the fall guy for Marvel and Kevin Feige, who probably don't want to recast the character. Chadwick Boseman risked his first job, big acting job, because he was given a character who did not have a father, and he asked the producers about the kid's father, and he lost the job. His character of T'Challa, which he breathed life into, the first ever live-action iteration of T'Challa, he railed against his ancestors and his dad on the ancestral plane because they left a fatherless killmonger alone in America. That was Chadwick Boseman, and there's no way Coogler didn't know it. But yet, as soon as Chadwick Boseman passed away, they did everything in their power to totally reverse and repudiate everything that man stood for. And they did it inside of Wakanda Forever. Broken black families. Wherever Coogler goes, he is already shown with 3 different types of movies. Totally original, franchise, and based on an original story, based on a real story. In all of those cases, he always favors a broken black family. And it's that kind of attitude, which is why we will not get T'Challa recast. So again, for my first reason, Ryan Coogler is always Ryan Coogler. If you don't like what he did with T'Challa and you don't like what he did with Wakanda Forever and how he's trashed Wakanda, he's the same person that's going to make Sinners and is going to make Creed and is going to make all the other movies that he has. That reason alone says to me, it's like it's hard for me to support his other movies when he continues down that same vein. Ryan Coogler is still getting paid by Disney and Marvel, okay? He and Nate Moore, for that matter. He's still on the slate to do Black Panther 3. He's the executive producer of Eyes of Wakanda and Ironheart. And it's going to be amazing to see if the same broken black family dynamic is in Riri Williams' show. Will she get a flashback like all the other people get? Will we see her and her dad working together on the car, something wholesome? Or will we never see that? My bet, if I'm wrong, I'll come up here and say it. My bet is you're never going to see her with her father because that's all part of the broken family, black family thing in the MCU and in Ryan Coogler's movies. But he's still getting paid. He's still being the cover for Disney and not recasting T'Challa. He's still 10 toes down on that, and he's getting paid. There's no financial hurt, even though people in the recast T'Challa movement are keeping their wallets closed because they're hoping that the financial hit will force Marvel to change its mind. But the creative genius, who was their cover and the standard bearer for not recasting T'Challa because of his close personal relationship with Chadwick Boseman, he's still getting paid by Marvel. He's not getting hit in the pocket. And then when we follow him to his other movies outside of the MCU and we help make those financially successful, he's getting paid all the way around. The economic boycott of the MCU by recasters who feel that way, the economic boycott of Disney Plus by the recasters who feel that way, it is not hurting Ryan Coogler at all, particularly if we follow behind him and make his other stuff successful. And again, this is just my opinion, but if you really want to get his attention so that he gets out of the way of recasting T'Challa, hit him in his pocket for real. Boycott all of his stuff and tell him why. Maybe then he will wake up and see what's happening. But as far as it goes now, he's getting paid inside and outside the MCU, so there's no incentive for him to stop what he's doing. I think we undercut our argument when we follow these two, the ones that are in the middle of this, Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore, when we make their other projects successful, or we're willing to make their other projects successful while they're still getting paid by Disney. If we find their attitude towards T'Challa distasteful, that same attitude goes with them no matter where they go. And so that's why I'm saying that when I look at this question personally, I just say hell no. I really don't feel like I should support Nate Moore if he produces another black-oriented or black-led movie, because I don't think he can help himself. And Ryan Coogler has already shown that he can't help himself. He will always give us broken black families. So at the end of the day, I don't think that I should support Ryan Coogler outside of the MCU. I'm definitely not going to gush over all the things that he's done and think that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Sinners has its ups, but it also has its negatives, which I've already talked about in the videos that I've done. Should recasters, particularly those who withhold their money from the MCU and Disney Plus, they want to withhold their financial support, should they then support Ryan Coogler's other projects or Nate Moore's other projects? To me, I say no. But that's just my thoughts on the matter. You can let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video.
The sleeper has awakened!